Employees at the Panasonic plant in DeSoto were sent scrambling this morning as first responders rushed to check out an emergency at the site. KCTV5's Gabby Luma reports from the plant.
Employees at the Panasonic plant here in DeSoto were evacuated this morning after a, quote, thermal event. That's according to Panasonic and fire officials out here. It happened at about 6:23 a.m. this morning. That's when a thermal runaway occurred. That is according to Northwest fire officials who responded here. But what is a thermal runaway? It's actually a chemical reaction that happens within a battery, and that then emits heat, which then emits smoke. But what's really interesting here is that both Panasonic officials and fire officials could not confirm that there was an actual fire out here, and we do not have any other information regarding anything that actually happened within the plant this morning. But we did just get an update from Panasonic that the employees were able to return to the site today as the site got an all clear. But again, we still have very limited details regarding at least really what all happened, kind of that scene inside. We just know that there was a thermal runaway, there was smoke from that heat, but there was no confirmation of any fire. So make sure to stay with us here on KCTV5 as we work to learn a little bit more. Reporting from DeSoto, Gabby Luma, KCTV5 News.